When you see that and taking into account that this is the wealthiest country in the world, it's very astonishing to see unhealthy, unsanitary, overcrowding conditions in homes, and also people living in the streets, like mess of people. And if you see the numbers and the scale of this phenomenon in the US, we are talking about millions of people, and those are not only the poorest among the poor or people that have specific mental illness, disabilities. We are talking about more and more here working families and individuals have jobs, but they simply cannot afford rents and mortgages. So that's why I'm calling this a affordable housing crisis, which is of course different from the situation in other places, but still I have seen many people suffering a lot and even being on the streets because they could not afford to pay housing. The US, contrary to other countries in the world, had a long-standing policy goal to provide safe, decent homes for everyone since the New Deal. And a very huge and strong policy with a wide range of options. Public housing, it was one big thing that was done here over decades, but also subsidized rent in form of vouchers and many other different issues. Cities that adopted rent control, rent stabilization, the Fair Housing Act, providing non-discriminatory criteria for the people to get into housing. So it's a solid base and a policy goal. But in the last, I would say, 2 decades, 15 years, 2 decades, severe cuts in the budget, in the funding of these programs occurred. Funding for homeless, funding for public housing, funding for... So the whole system and public housing deteriorated. And you had that, and then a policy of turning down public housing and replacing them by mixed income came, with a lot of units of public housing, affordable housing available, being lost because the ones that were there was not one-for-one replacement. I'm talking about situations where 800 units were demolished and 20 new ones were in place. So this imbalance was there, and in the top of this situation, the subprime crisis came. So the subprime crisis created a new phase of homelessness, people losing houses because of foreclosure. And then the economic recession that followed the subprime crisis created another pressure on the existing situation. People losing jobs and not being able to pay rents and mortgages anymore. So you have these layers of problems adding to the affordable housing issues in the state. And of course, there is an issue of affordability because the years of dismantling the network or starving the programs that dealt with that were years of real estate boom. So were years of booming prices in the real estate market, very highly gentrification process in the cities with different phases, like corporate real estate advancing over old neighborhoods that had affordable housing. So all this process together created what we see here. So just to summarize, I didn't realize before coming what was the perverse effect of all this combining phenomena that occurred in the States.